Hey guys, Harrison back at it once again for a brand new video for you, and welcome to round 5 of the Hamilton Challenge. Now, this is something you probably weren't expecting to see. Yeah, replay cams. Allow me to quickly explain why you see the opening lap of this race. As you can see, I'm at the back there as I normally am, chasing after Max Chilton. Never thought I'd be saying that in a hurry. I tried to record this run. Turns out my PVR wasn't working during the live recording of this. So I thought it might be a better idea to just talk over the replay instead of basically recording it a second time and having a little bit of an unfair advantage, because obviously this was me. This is the first crack I had at this. I just turned the console on and did it. I didn't have 2 cracks at this like I normally do. So I thought, let me be fair here. Let me record this raw, and basically I thought I'd talk over the replay instead. Because I thought if I did it twice in a row, I'd have a little bit of an unfair advantage. I'd be better at it second time around, and I think it's a little bit more fair if I just do it like this, as I made a horrible mistake there on that corner, and Sergio Perez smashed into the back of me with his front wing there, and it cost him quite dearly. As Raikkonen goes around the outside of him like a boss. As you may have also noticed in this first run around Spain, I started on the prime tyre rather than the option tyre. Reason for this was because I'm not that strong on the option tyre, so I thought if I can just stabilise myself here on the primes, not lose out too much time in terms of the gap to the front, and just hang on in there for a little bit, I thought, if this works out, then maybe I can cash in on the second half of the race on the option tyres and see what I can do. So get used to seeing this a lot. I had a little bit of a dice with Raikkonen here, and yeah, Raikkonen kept me honest pretty much this entire first stint. I made a mistake there, and my braked a little bit too late going into turn 1, and you know, Raikkonen is all over the back of me like a bad rash, and remember, he's on the option tyre, as is all 4 of the guys behind me, and I'm on the primes, but obviously I'm in the Mercedes, so there's a little bit of an advantage going on here. Also, don't worry, this is only a one-off. I won't be doing this every race, obviously. This was just kind of a coincidental one-off I thought might work, and I thought I'd try and mix it up a little bit. Unless you guys prefer seeing it on replay cams instead, I don't know, it's up to you. In case you need a little bit of extra context, this is 8th place. This is the battle for 8th place at the moment. So this is 8th, Raikkonen's 9th, I think that's Perez in 10th, Valtteri Bottas 11th. Basically, in case you need a little bit of extra context, also you haven't got the HUD here to help you out. Spain on a 25% race is a 17-lap race, and I also, for the first time in this series, had to deal with rain as well. There was a 22% chance of rain going into this race. Basically, if the percentage is any higher than 0, I think Matty came up with this theory that basically if there's any kind of percentage on the rain, it's basically how much of the race you'll have rain rather than the amount of, or the chances of it actually raining during the race. So if you have a percentage, it means it will rain. It's just a matter of when rather than if. And I don't think it really started raining until lap, I think, 15 of 17, so it was right at the end. So unfortunately the rain didn't really have an effect on things, which is kind of unfortunate because I think we're going to mix things up a little bit. But as you can see here, me and Raikkonen are about the same in terms of pace. Me on the primes versus Raikkonen on the options are about 50-50. So it's going to come down to me making a mistake that's going to let Raikkonen through here, more unlikely, because from what I've noticed around this track is that the AI, I'm pretty even with the AI on sectors 1 and 2. Sector 3 is where I make most of my time. For some reason, the AI aren't fast around Sector 3, which is surprising considering that's the most technical part of the track. You'd think the AI being perfect in every way around the corners and the twisty bits, you'd think that would be their strongest part of the track, but no. Like, when I'm on the option tyre, especially in the second half of the race, it turns out that's where I was making most of my time. We were, again, about the same in sectors 1 and 2. Obviously, I don't really like Spain as a track. I'd much rather we go to a different track than this one. Like, Catalunya is kind of plain Jane for me in terms of a track, as Raikkonen gets DRS for the first time here. And he thinks about making a move, and I've got to be defensive here because I think I can't be, because Raikkonen's just come down the side of me here, and I've got nowhere to go. And I think I thought he got me, but he backed out at the last second there, which is a vintage Codemasters F1 game trait, unfortunately, where the AI back out and then they lose like 0.6 of a second just under braking, which is really, really stupid, to be honest with you, but that's just the game for you. But yeah, I've never really liked Spain. It's just kind of bland to me. Like, it's not that complicated a track. There's nothing particularly special about it besides the weather. And I think the fact it's so terrible on tyres now is like more... I think it causes more harm than good these days, to be honest with you. Which kind of irritates me, but, you know, it's not a bad track by any stretch. That's actually really good as a MotoGP track. I just don't think it's as good for Formula 1. And I have no idea why Raikkonen closed his DRS flap, like, way before the braking zone for that corner. That was a bit surprising to me. So I don't quite know what Raikkonen was doing there. Sergio Perez has lost a little bit of time here, because, again, he's got a damaged front wing, so he's not going to be quite as fast here. But as we go towards the end of lap 4, I'm just hanging on to Raikkonen. I'm losing about 1/10 or 2 a lap to, I think it's Felipe Massa in front of me here, leading that in that second pack. We're obviously leading the third pack. Raikkonen's got DRS on us again here, but he's not close enough this time to really make a move. He's doing about 210 miles an hour now into this first corner. These cars being so much faster in a straight line, that, you know, obviously having DRS and a minor slipstream kind of helps out. But the fastest I think I got around here with DRS was, I think, 217 miles an hour, which is stupidly fast. Like, you wouldn't be touching 200 in last year's game, even with DRS. So it says a lot about, you know, the quality of the game. To break things up a little bit, just a couple of things I want to mention as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the little sneak peek of the podcast we did. That was our last video. Yeah, basically, it was a episode we did back in December. I think it was December 15th we did that episode. And I thought, you know, why not get some people listening who may not have listened to the show before, and, you know, a chance for them to get involved. And the good news is that we have been approved by iTunes. So the Harrison 101 Motorsport podcast is now a fully blown series on iTunes. I think you can download it right now. So if you enjoyed what you heard, you can now... I'll put a link to it in the description now. So if you enjoyed the show, you can download it onto your iPhone now. So if one of those guys that likes using iTunes to listen to their podcasts like I do, then it's on there now, which is just amazing. I never thought I'd see the day where I'd see one of my own produced shows on iTunes. It's a really, really cool thing, and I'm very, very proud. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for all the support and everybody who's listened. I think they've gone down really well. I think they're very popular. I've had a lot of positive feedback about the show, and I'm really, really happy about that. So thank everybody who's listened. From what I've been told, the show should be up now. I got the approval email at about 1 in the morning last night, and they said it should take a few hours for it to start appearing on the iTunes store properly, and it should take a couple of days for it to be found on search engines. So that's why I wouldn't search for it just yet. It's not going to show up there right at the minute. It's gonna be a thing where you've kind of got to wait it out, I think, more than anything else. And, you know, I think since a couple of days before it goes live on iTunes search engine. So if you're searching for it, you might want to wait a couple of days first on that one, as of the time of recording. But as you see, Raikkonen passed me. I made a mistake, obviously, on the last lap going into turn 1. I outbraked myself way too much going into the turn, and then Raikkonen just got clean through. The good news is, though, is that Raikkonen can't brake me in a straight line. In fact, I actually just dive it down the inside and give a switch back, and I pass him there at the chicane, which probably wasn't the best idea, because now he's got DRS on me again down the home straight. So I jumped the gun a little bit on that one, and Raikkonen comes at me again here down the back straight. So we're having a great little fight between me and Kimi here. Again, Kimi switches to the outside, tries to go down the outside with me. That's never going to happen. But, you know, I'm just hanging on to the back of these two. Perez, you got Perez, I think that's Button and Bottas there as well, who are just waiting in the wings. Well, again, I make another mistake. I actually do an engine cut out there because I put all 4 wheels off the racing line. So my engine cut out, and I let Raikkonen in again, and I go wide around the corner again, and that's one of the few corners where it's actually okay to go wide. It's not too bad as long as you can switch it back in time. So You know, it was only a minor mistake really, but now I'm under some real pressure because Raikkonen's still there, and now the rest of the field is caught up again. You can see Perez in the background there, Button and Bottas there too. So we're all dicing for the minor points at the moment, but the race definitely changes as I'm actually harvesting ERS there. Whoops. As you can see, I'm just hanging on there for a little bit now. I'm just thinking, like, when is it going to be lap 9 so I can pit already? And, you know, the primes actually held on quite well around here. It's just like the game in general is not as harsh on tyre wear as it was in 2013, where this track would be hell to drive around in with tyres and whatnot. And you know, it's nowhere near as bad. I think Spain in general. I remember they brought harder compound tyres to this year's Grand Prix. For the reason of that's the race leader Sebastian Vettel coming out of the pits, by the way. Yay, Seb. As I make another mistake, I go wide around there again, and you know I keep giving Raikkonen opportunities here, which is annoying. But I think I remember them bringing a harder compound to this year's Grand Prix because in 2013, with this, I think it was a 4-stop race for everyone but the Ferraris, pretty much, and a couple of other teams that were able to free-stop. But for some teams it was a 4-stop Grand Prix, which is just ludicrous. It's ludicrous and it's confusing because you don't know who's on what strategy. It's like watching an old FSR race when they were doing 5 and 6 stops every Grand Prix. It was ridiculous. But yeah, like 4 stops for a Grand Prix is always way too much in my opinion. Like, you can't be doing that. Like I know, like Williams were trying a 2 that day, and I think Ferrari, who won the race with Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa, I think they were 1 and 3 or something like that, and they were running a 3-stopper, and then the guys like Sebastian Vettel was running a 4-stopper because Red Bull's tyre wear wasn't that good back then. They were struggling with the newer Pirelli tyres that, you know, I like to call them the showbiz tyres, as Mark Webber calls them as well. It just didn't work out where that's concerned, and yeah, you know, I think they brought a more simple, harder compound tyre, and it worked out a little bit around here. So you can do 10-11 laps on the prime tyre around here now quite easily in a 25% race. It's, as I said, it's a 17-lap Grand Prix, and you know, for all intents and purposes, you know, they say pit on 9. I could probably have done a couple more if it came down to it. As you can see, as I go wide around turn 3 again, and my engine cuts out, so I lose another tenth or 2 there. Sebastian Vettel is in the back of this pack, by the way. I think the leaders are starting to come in now on their option tyres and changing for primes. So the field is starting to get shaken up a little bit. Like, Vettel was the first of the leaders in, which is interesting considering he was in the lead, but he's actually got quite a stretched out lead. What helped out in this Hamilton Challenge episode was basically Nico Rosberg got caught up by the leading pack. He was caught up having to deal with Alonso, Ricciardo and Vettel, and couldn't do what the Mercs normally do, which was break out a ridiculously big lead on the starting pack, and, you know, obviously have that cushion where they're very, very hard to beat unless you clear the rest of the grid really quickly and you've got free air to work with. If that isn't the case, then you start to struggle. That's what I've noticed so far. I mean, the series is tied at 2-2 at the moment as we come in for our scheduled stop on lap 9. As you can see, Raikkonen follows me in. I think Sergio Perez comes in as well. And I think Felipe Massa comes in, which comes back to bite me as well. And the reason for that is because I get caught up in the pits, as you'll see in a second here. Put the option tyres on, and Felipe Massa's still coming down, so it wasn't a disaster. I only lost about a second. It was a 4.8 second stop, and I was terrified that Raikkonen would jump me in the pits, but we got away with it. And as you can see, we've actually gained a little bit of time on Felipe Massa. Actually, no, that was actually sort of been Bottas in the pits then, my bad. So we've actually gained a little bit of time on Felipe Massa here. As you can see, it was about 6 seconds was the gap between him and Massa on the first stints. Then Massa got past Hulkenberg and the gap came down a little bit because they were battling. So as a result, I'm now on the option tyres. I can now push a lot more now, and everyone else is going to be on the prime. So now I've got a chance to really put the hammer down, show Mercedes true pace, and see if I can get up there now. So luckily as well, another benefit of this year's game is that you don't have to worry about warming the tyres up anymore. They're already pretty warm on the way out, which is great. So you can push earlier. As you can see now, we're closing right in on Felipe Massa already, and Hulkenberg there in the Force India. I think that is there in that second pack, which is starting to spread out a little bit now. But as you can see, we're right in range now. We're on a little bit wider the hairpin, but no major deal there. Like I said, this is where I start to kill them. Sector 3 now on this option tyre is where I really start putting my foot down now, and I was about a second faster through this sector than anyone else, I'd say, which was just ridiculous. That should not be a thing in this game, where you're that much faster over one sector, and actually get DRS for the first time here as well. So I'm within a second already of these two. Not close enough to make a pass yet, but I was doing about 215 miles an hour down this home straight now, and I'm chasing Felipe Massa and Nico Hulkenberg. And as you can see, we're visibly faster than these guys now, so it's just a matter of when can I clear them. In case you can't see it, Massa's there in P7, then it's Hulkenberg, then it's Kevin Magnussen in P5, so Fizzy will be happy with that. So that's the second pack. We dive it down the inside here, through turn 6, and it actually works. Like, Massa was very conservative in terms of giving room there, so good to see. Thanks, Felipe, on that one. I've never criticised you on this show. Like, my brother's a big fan, so don't worry, Felipe. We'll get you to sign a helmet after the race or something. As we get DRS again now on Hulkenberg, but not close enough to make a move just yet. Or do we? Yeah, we dive it down the inside there. We went full Sebastian Vettel at this year's Grand Prix. We dived it down the hairpin, and we got rid of Hulkenberg really quickly, which was excellent. So next up was K-Mag. This is lap 10, so we've got 8 laps to go now. It'll be 7 by the time we cross the line. Again, Manson's on the primes again, and we just follow him out of the last corner. We get a good run, and it's easy pickings, really. It's a very simple DRS move now. If we come through, Madison's got no chance here. I upped it to fuel mix free and just, yeah, goodbye, basically. So now we've got some clear air to work, so the second group has been cleared. So right now, I believe we're in 4th place, or is it 5th place? It's 2nd, 3rd. Yeah, I believe it's 5th place, because next up is actually Nico Rosberg. Believe it or not. So yeah, Rosberg seems to be struggling a little bit on his primes this Grand Prix, where at this point there's a 4-second gap between me and Rosberg, and for some reason he's not able to keep up with the 2 Red Bulls. Like, Vettel is gone at this point. Vettel's got like an 8-second lead at this point in time, so he was out of the way completely. The guys that they were battling with Rosberg were Alonso and Ricciardo. You can see him in the distance now on this shot here. That's Rosberg in front in the silver car there. He's trying to keep up with Alonso, and he can't quite get the move done on him. And you know, you've got him and you've got Ricciardo in that pack as well in the fight for second, basically. So yeah, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We're in P5 now. We've got 6 laps left, and we're now got to start thinking about trying to find a way to obviously get past Rosberg. Remember the rules. I don't have to win the Grand Prix. All I've got to do is beat Rosberg to take the win. So this is excellent news for me. Seeing I was so happy when I saw that Rosberg was the one. Was the one there in P4, and I was like, yes, we've got a chance here, because I don't normally like driving around Spain. I'm actually quite bad around here, and the way I'm looking at it right now, I'm looking at it like, well, it's Monaco next. And Monaco, I've got very, very little chance of being able to win. I am not particularly good around Monaco. I'm quite a scruffy driver. I'm very aggressive on the wheel. It's not a track for me. And having to pass 21 cars, get past them all, and obviously survive and win in 20 laps is not going to happen at Monaco. It just isn't. So, you know, as you can see, there's Rosberg behind Ricciardo now, and you know, they can't really find a way around it at the moment, which is just crazy. I was like, really? Rosberg in 4th? That was such a surprise. So the way I'm looking at this is like, I've got to get this one, because I'd like to be 3-2 up going into Monaco, because I'm pretty much throwing Monaco away right off the bat here. And I know the tracks that are coming up down the road I'm going to be stronger around, like Canada, Austria, and Silverstone, which I'm pretty good around. I'm very good around Austria. I just did a 100% race round there after all, and I lapped the entire field. So yeah, Kendra's giving me a mail. Thanks Kendra. So yeah, there's like you see I'm getting closer to Rosberg, and now I'm even closer because Rosberg tried to pass on Ricciardo. He couldn't get it, and he backed off. So he's now lost about a second, maybe a second and a half, just through breaking through turn 1 and not making it stick. So now we're right on the back of Nico Rosberg now. So I was like, yes, that's exactly what I needed to happen, because the options were already starting to lose some of their prime grip at this point. So I was like, come on, we've got to get Rosberg now. And you know, we get a good run down this corner. Yeah, we're really in his draft now. Try and move into turn 7, couldn't quite get it. They're going up the hill now. We're trying to move now into the long winding right-hander over the blind crest and into the DRS zone for the hairpin. I was like, okay, this is going to be the one here right now. And you know, we try to Vettel lunge down the inside. We don't quite get him, but Rosberg, the nudge runs in wide. We bang wheels a little bit when we come through. It's like watching the real-life Hamilton versus Rosberg feud from this season. You know, Hamilton running Rosberg a little bit wide on a corner and just sticking it down the inside of him to make it stick, and it worked, you know. I think Rosberg's lack of aggression at times was probably part of the reason why he didn't win the championship this year, but that's just me. So we've got ahead of Rosberg now, which is excellent news. So now we've just got to stick it out now and just not make any mistakes. I believe this is lap 14 now of 17. So we've got 3 laps to go here, I think, or 3 or 4 laps left. And yeah, just got to hang in there, not make any errors, and just hope it works out. I believe it starts to rain on this lap as well. But as you can tell, obviously it's just too late to affect proceedings, and the rain wasn't particularly heavy or anything. So I just stuck my nose in and got on with it, really. As you can see, the next man up is Daniel Ricciardo. I think you can start seeing the raindrops now. So I believe there's 3 laps to go here. So yeah, Ricciardo's up next. You know, Mr. Underrated from this season. And then you got Fernando Alonso there in second place. So the front 3 spread out a little bit here. Like I said, Vettel is long gone in the lead now, and it's just a matter of me just making sure I finish ahead of Nico. And I've already cleared him from the DRS zone, which is excellent news as well. So it's just a matter of, you know, here's Ricciardo now. We're coming through sector 3, my best part of the track now. The primes are starting to come back a little bit now as well, because my options are starting to fade at this point. So, you know, if I think about it, I move down the inside, and it gets a little bit congested here because Alonso's got to deal with a back marker. Marcus Ericsson is right there, and it bunches everybody up. There's a little bit of a contact there as well because everyone's breaking off each other's moves, and we get Ricciardo down the inside of the last corner. It slingshots us out for Alonso. Alonso's got DRS as well, but we have the slipstream, and as you can see here, I pull out to the right here, side by side, 215 miles an hour now into turn 1, and we make it stick. Which was an excellent move on my part, if I do say so myself. The rain is now properly coming down now. We have, I think, just over 2 laps left. So, you know, as you can see here, you know, we're working it out now. Just, you know, just being casual, just making sure we're not making any mistakes, and, you know, not trying to let the rain put you off. Like, I don't want to do what guys like Jorge Lorenzo do in MotoGP, where they see rain on the visor and it's like, oh shit, what do I do now? And I'm just trying to keep it calm at this point more than anything else. As you can see, there's Alonso, there's Ricciardo, there's Rosberg. They're all pretty much in a train at this point, all within just about a second of each other. Alonso is at about 1.1 seconds back at this point, so he didn't get DRS, which I thought, oh my god, that's excellent. So just got to be conservative, hold on during this just final sector. And, you know, it should be, you know, plain sailing from here. Like I said, Vettel is about 8 seconds clear, so I'm not going to win the Grand Prix by any chance here, unless the AI are really stupid and pit for new tyres, which is never going to happen. So it's just a matter of surviving more than anything else now, riding this out until the end of the Grand Prix. You may have just seen Vettel in that shot there at the end of the home straight. I think this is the final lap now. So it's just, again, so like I said, it's, you know, the rain didn't really have an impact on things. I wish it did. It would have been fun because I've not actually raced the AI in the wet yet, which I thought would have been interesting. But, you know, it's one of these things. Yeah, it didn't even really affect the track yet. Like, it probably wouldn't have bothered the track for another couple of laps. The track was fine, to be honest with you. You know, the rain wasn't coming down heavy enough for it to make a difference, which is just a shame, really, you know. At this point now, my options are on the brink. Like, I've done 8 laps on these tyres already, and, you know, they're really, really starting to struggle. So it's just a matter of playing good defense and hanging on. But minor spoiler alert, I do hang on. I come in second during the race. And yeah, it all works out in the end. Sebastian Vettel wins the Grand Prix. We finish in second. Like, the running order you see on the screen now is exactly how it ends up. If the race had been one lap longer, I think it would have been a different ending, to be honest with you, because like I said, my options were pretty worn out at this point. Like they've done their 8 laps, which they really shouldn't be doing anything more than that, to be honest with you. But yeah, we hang on, come round the final corner, and win round 5 of the Hamilton Challenge. So in case you want to see what the full running order was like, there it is. Sebastian Vettel won the Grand Prix by 8.3 seconds. We finished just under a second ahead of Fernando Alonso. Ricciardo was a second back from him, and Rosberg was about a second back from him. We cleared that second pack by about 10 seconds in the end. K-Mag in 6th, Hülkenberg ahead of Massa, Raikkonen in 9th, Sergio Perez recovers from the broken wing to still score a point in 10th. Look at that, all the cars coming down there for the race. That's pretty cool. Valtteri Bottas in 11th, Jenson Button 12th. There's the rest of the order in case you guys want to see it. So yeah, we take the win and we go 3-2 up in the Hamilton Challenge. Round 6 is going to be Monaco. That's going to be fun, right? We're going to die a painful death. But I hope you guys enjoyed the slight change of pace of the episode. Hopefully my commentary didn't get too irritating. At least I hope it didn't anyway. And like I said, this is just a one-off. It won't happen again. So I hopefully you guys will, forgive me on this one for having a faulty PVR on this one. But we managed to make something out of it at least. At least I didn't cheat really by doing it 2 or 3 times over. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. I've been Harrison101, and I'll catch you guys next time. Sayonara.